I'm talking about why I chose to work in the schools as an SLP. Hey, Michelle. It's Sunday Fun Day, so I am not going to be here long. I'm going to wait about a minute or two, and I'm only going to talk for about 10 minutes, okay? Got my timer ready. I'm going to hit start in a second. All right, Michelle. So, Michelle, thank you for stopping by, okay? I know you are not in this speech pathology life. You know, Michelle is a realtor, okay? So if you are in the market looking for a permanent home or a temporary home, talk to Michelle. Michelle sells the QC, all right? Holla at her. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to start my timer. So I am Kendra T, the SLP, and I am here to talk about why I chose to work in the schools as a speech pathologist. So if you may or may not know, speech pathologists can work in a variety of settings: schools, home health, hospital, facilities, all kinds of different settings, right? And I have dabbled in a lot of them. And after working in a home setting, meaning that I was going to homes and working with kids right there on their floor, I had special boundaries for that, but working with them in their homes, I have gone and worked in a clinical setting just a little bit. I've done a lot of school work, and then I've also worked in a hospital and facility setting. I have chose to make the most of my hours and to seek out contracts working in the school system. And the reason is because, I'll tell you, I consider myself a very efficient, productive worker. You know, I'm always about how can I make the most of my time, organize my processes and my strategies to be efficient and get this done, right? And I feel like working in the schools, I can do that. So basically, my number one reason for working in the schools is because you get paid. I get paid for being there. So if I am in the school on the school premises, or if I am, since I do teletherapy, working so many hours for the schools, I get paid for doing that. So, and I'm pretty much working that whole time. Versus if you do home health, you get paid for when you go to the kid's house and they're there and you're ready and they're ready and you do your 30-minute session or so, you get paid for that 30-minute session. But for the time it takes you to travel from home to home to home, you don't actually get paid for that time in a lot of cases. Or if you go to a home to see a kid and the parents forgot that you were coming and they're not there, and so therefore you don't do therapy with that kid, you don't really get paid. Now, there are exceptions to every rule. I mean, depending on different companies and things like that, you know, you might. But basically, the bottom line is the main reason I work in the schools is because I get paid for being there. I feel like that's the most efficient way to work. Another reason why I work in the school systems is because I like being able to connect with other members of the team easier. I can connect with the teachers, the occupational therapist, the physical therapist, the EC teacher who does academic services. Like, I connect with all of them and we work on a team together. So it's easier to make those connections versus working with a student at home where the team might be kind of scattered around. Now, if you work in a contained setting like some people who just joined, like with the Birth to 3 early intervention program, then you, in that case, may have, when I say contained, I mean like you're a part of the team because you are work with the same agency, then you have connection with the PT, the OT, a play therapist, and everything like that. But I've been the therapist who worked as a part of the early intervention team, but not for that actual department. So I didn't really have direct connection with those other team members. So, you know, it depends on if you feel like you work better with having that connection with the team members. There's also the consideration of working with the parent. Working in the schools, sometimes you don't have that direct, immediate connection with the parent. You gotta go through a little bit more effort to make that connection by texting or calling them regularly. Whereas if you work in a home setting with kids, then the parent is right there. ideally, the parent is right there and you got that connection. So I'll just wrap all this up to say that one of the reasons why I like working in the school setting is because of that easy connection with multiple team members. When we have the meetings, they're right down the hall, they're an email away or whatever. All right. So again, the reasons why I like working in the school setting versus the other settings that speech pathologists can work in, and this is all I'm considering pediatric, right, with kids, school setting, home setting, a clinic facility setting. I do also work in, it's not exactly a nursing home, but it is a care facility for severely, profoundly impaired people. So that's kind of a clinical slash home slash school setting, because it's people who have a lot of medical needs, who are severely, profoundly impaired and have medical needs and don't live in a regular home. They live in this facility. So I work there too. But out of those 4 locations, I prefer to work in the school and in the care facility because you get paid for being there, like I said, and it's easier to connect with other team members. Those are the 2 main reasons. I mean, when we think about paperwork, I know that people who have done the home setting and the skilled nursing facility setting is like, oh, it's so much paperwork. Let me go to the schools. There's paperwork everywhere. You're not going to get around that, no matter where you work, because of the simple fact that we are working with children or adults and in a medical slash educational type capacity, because our services in speech therapy can be serving the medical needs for communication and swallowing and feeding, but also it can be serving the educational needs for communication only in schools or different facilities. So by the nature of working with people and vulnerable populations and medical and educational needs, we're just gonna have paperwork. So I feel like that's about the same. Maybe it's more in the school setting though. Yeah. All right, so my timer, I still got 3.5 minutes. And those are my main reasons. So I know that, so I'm gonna spill over into a tip, all right? So those are my main reasons for choosing to work in the school settings mostly, right? Versus the other settings. Here are my tips for managing that. And let's see who's here before I get into that. Okay, so Michelle says the QC. She's a realtor, as I mentioned already. Sunshine, 1717. Sunshine, I think you're an SLP too, right? Or SLP adjacent, I think. Do It for the Bites is SLP, but she is mainly a food blogger, a socialite, Charlotte socialite. She knows all the things about history, culture, food. She was recently featured in the Washington Post for a brilliant piece on the history of the cast iron skillet and how it has family and history and cultural roots, all right? So, okay, so Sunshine is an SLP. I thought so. Okay, so, and do you work in the schools, Sunshine? Let me know. Because I know that Do It for the Bites does not work in the schools. So, here's my tip, though. For working in the schools, like I said, the reasons that I like to is because you get paid for being there. You get paid for like a regular school day, whether you are doing therapy or an evaluation or a screening or consulting with a teacher or having an IEP meeting. You get paid for that time versus the other settings where you get paid for doing a therapy session versus doing an evaluation versus having a meeting. It's all, you're paid differently. It's more segmented. All right, Sunshine, you do work in the schools. Okay, good. So my tip for all those things that we get paid to do in the school just for during that school hour or block of time, my main tip is to organize your processes and your templates and your strategy. You know, we all do work a little bit differently, and the best way to be efficiently is to figure out what you're good at and what you need a little bit more time with doing. Do you need a little bit more time with planning your therapy sessions? Organize your system and your strategy for that. Do you need a little bit more time for doing the paperwork for meetings? Organize your strategy and your system for that. Do you need a little bit more time with doing your evaluations and your diagnostic reports. Organize your system and your strategy for that. So do that to be the most efficient. That's my main general tip. You know what I'm saying? If y'all have questions, you can type them in and let me know. But that's my general tip for everything, right? And so I work very efficiently, like I said, and I have a program that I created, developed, and worked and everything in a way that lets me do teletherapy, excuse me. That was a good sneeze. All right, so I have my strategy that allows me to work pretty efficiently with seeing my students in school and freeing up time for paperwork, because we got to find time for that paperwork in school and everything. So that's what I'm preparing, an online course for how to teach other school SLPs or anybody else, school OTs, PTs, how to do, like, managing your time, restructuring your speech therapy sessions to make more time and flexibility, and then also taking your teletherapy that you might be doing, because I see, Sunshine, you said you were doing it remotely in schools right now, but when schools get back to fully opening, you may want the option to do teletherapy, right? So I have a master class online course to teach other school SLPs how to develop their own teletherapy program, bring it all together, get it approved so that you can work more efficiently and have more freedom and flexibility in your home and school life. Because those are all very important. We are here because we want to help and be helpers, but we also are real people with real lives, and we need to get back to them after we have helped. All right, my timer just went off, y'all, so I am done. It is the end of Sunday fun day for you, girl. I'm here on my back porch. It's in the middle of construction, so pardon my background here. But thank you for joining, everybody who joined. I'm gonna save this and post it, and I will see y'all throughout the week. Make sure you DM me if you have any questions about anything. I had to think of my call to action. But DM me if you have any questions about anything or suggested topics you would like me to talk about, as far as speech therapy, teletherapy, school speech therapy, anything. If you want to join in, like, that'd be great. Because like I said, I am getting comfortable with this talking to the camera thing and kind of talking to people who are comment scrolling at the bottom but not talking directly to a person. It's still a little odd, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm done. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope y'all have a good night and a great work week. Bye.